Hello and welcome to Mama's Cookbook. You know, I was thinking in this crazy time that we're all going through, we probably don't have a lot in our cupboards. And this was true for many times in my family's household. So if you have 6 potatoes and 6 eggs and a few peas and an onion, you can make the most delicious potato soup. And this is what Mama wrote about it. When I was a child and there was not much money, my grandma made this for my sister and brothers, and we all loved it. And I loved it too. And it's one of those foods that just kind of becomes a comfort food. So let's go ahead and make it. I'm gonna start peeling potatoes, and when I'm done, we'll get back together. The thought occurred to me that I'm sure there are a lot of Italians out there who make this dish, who do the potatoes and eggs all the time. And I'm sure there are many variations. And you should feel free when you try this to vary it to your tastes and likes and get creative with it. And when we get into it, I'll show you one little variation that I do that kind of added a little bit to it. You know, so feel free to make it your own. All right, I better peel. All right, so I peeled the potatoes, and now I'm getting this is my last one to get cut up. I cut it in half, and then quarters, and then I just make chunks. So it's an easy to do. All right, then my next big and easiest thing is to cut an onion. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the onion. And this is a rather large onion. So if you have a smaller onion, it works just as well. So don't worry about the size of your onion. It'll be just as good. Now there's 2 ways of doing it. You can actually just cut it like this into half rings if you want, or you can chop it into larger chunks, which is what I prefer to do. But either way works just fine. And this is not a fine cut, okay? So either way, it works. My mom liked to use the rings. I like to chop in chunks. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to the next step. Well, here we go. I've chopped the onion, the potato. I'm going to liberally add olive oil to the bottom of my pan, heating it up. I'd say that's about 1/4 cup or less. Maybe about 3 tablespoons maybe. All right, and then just put in the onions. And we're going to saute the onions until they are limp. And there we got the beginning going. Okay, so we got our limp onions, and remember, you can cut them any size you want. If this is too big a chunk for you, then go ahead and cut them smaller. All right, then just add your potatoes. And about 4 cups of water. Down a little bit. I'm going to throw in about a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper and maybe a little more, because there are potatoes and they need salt. All right, now that is the recipe. I'm going to add the peas in a little bit, but what I wanted to tell you is this red pepper flakes are not in the recipe, but I like to add a few. So I'm going to drop a few red pepper flakes in it just for a tiny kick. And also, if you are a big garlic person, you could saute a little garlic with that onion if you're so inclined. All right, so here I go. Lid goes on, and we're going to cook that for about 10 minutes at a nice simmer. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so let's take a look. Whoa, it's boiling a fast one here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add a cup of frozen peas. Now, if you have canned peas, just drain them, but don't put them in until the very end, just to heat. But because these are frozen, my potatoes should be done in another 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and add the peas now. And that's all there is to that. Now I'm gonna cover it up and let it go another 10 minutes and then give it a check, okay? See you then. Okay, let's take a look. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, so now I'm gonna turn this down a wee bit and we're gonna add our eggs. So if you are nervous about adding eggs, you can crack your egg into a little dish and then lay it right on top. I'm gonna put 6 eggs. If you're not too nervous, you can just go ahead and add them directly into the dish. And you want 6, depending on how big your pot is, at least 6 eggs. This one looks like I'm gonna get, I think I'm gonna add 7 here. Could probably add even 8. So it's however many scoops you think you're gonna do. I'm gonna add 8 since there's 8 of us. All right, then I'm just gonna put the lid back on, let the eggs cook, and then we'll be ready to eat. Okay, let's take a look. Perfect. Then you can dish it up. If you want your eggs cooked all the way through, you just let it stay longer. If you want them less, then you let it stay less. But that was about 5 minutes. Doesn't that look great? Let me get a little taste. It's delicious. Tastes like home. If you want to doctor it up, this is not part of the recipe, but you could add a little Parmesan on top for fun. Doesn't need it, but it's an option for you. And now I've got to feed the cameraman. All right, cameraman, come and get yours. This is my grandson, Yuli. He's the brains of the outfit. Let's see how he likes it. Super hot, so be careful.
I can see that.
Super hot.
It smells good.
Delicious.
Holy cow.
Delicious, right? Okay, if you're in a hurry, you don't have much time, you're talking about 30 minutes to make this top to bottom. And if you don't have a lot of ingredients, easy, squeezy, lemon peasy. I hope you enjoy it. And that's what we're cooking today over here. Thanks from us and my mama's cookbook.